You're listening to CherryPickin Entertainment.
Throw me the ball and watch what I do with it.
You are now tuned into the CherryPickin podcast with your host, Andre Cherry.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the CherryPickin podcast. It's your long-lost friend, Andre Cherry. I'm back on the mic, back for another season of college football. And I know we're several weeks, a couple months away from football starting off officially, but I had to get back on the mic because I saw this story out there earlier this week. NC State, Virginia, they were going to play in Brazil. So I wanted to hop on the mic because I'm not sure if you're aware of the news. You know, maybe it's still a little early for college football to really be dominating your feeds and dominating your life, but there's still college football news that's happening. And this was a big one. NC State and Virginia, they were set to play in Brazil. It would have been the first college football game played in South America. That game is now being relocated to the Cavaliers' home field after the organizers of that event, they determined the game could not be conducted in Rio de Janeiro. And that announcement came earlier this week, I believe on Wednesday. And so that announcement comes literally less than 3 months before NC State and Virginia were set to play in week 0 action. There was a statement that I saw on X, and it was released from the NC State program. And I'll read it to you. It says, following extensive review with operational partners and international stakeholders, the 2026 NC State at Virginia football game, originally scheduled to be played in Brazil, will be relocated to Charlottesville, Virginia for this conference matchup. This change follows communication from Athlete Advantage, which informed the ACC and participating schools that the event could not be conducted. Originally scheduled to be played in week 0, the ACC, NC State, and Virginia are working with the NCAA and ESPN to confirm the game will remain on the originally scheduled date of Saturday, August 29th. Fans who purchase tickets or travel packages for the event through the official College Football Brazil website will receive refunds. Refund administration is being coordinated through applicable ticketing, payment, processing, and event partners. And so it's certainly a major blow for college football. I mean, if you like, week 0 action played internationally, I mean, this is a big time event to be playing in Brazil. I believe the Philadelphia Eagles played there, last season or a couple seasons ago. They played out there against the Packers. So now we're seeing it on the college level, which I think is pretty unique, certainly for NC State. And I think it would have brought big exposure to both of these programs, especially an NC State program that is really seeking to be in the conversation, not only in the ACC, but nationally. You've got a marquee quarterback entering into his 3rd season. He returned, CJ Bailey. He put up some good numbers last year. He had 273 completions for 397 attempts, so that's a completion percentage of 68.8%. That's fairly good. He threw for over 3,100 yards. He had 25 touchdowns to only 9 interceptions. So CJ Bailey is certainly a guy that they want to build the program around. He's certainly a guy that if there is any sort of Heisman hype, he would be that player from NC State to garner all the attention. Like, this is the guy that we're building around. We're putting all our chips in his boat, essentially. And this would have been a great chance for the program and CJ Bailey to just put themselves on the map a little bit internationally. Everybody would have been watching this game week 0, an exciting location in Brazil. And for whatever reason, this game just can't happen. The international matchup had been announced last December. And as I mentioned previously, it was supposed to be the first FBS football game played in South America. But I did see reported that the promoter was responsible for organizing the event and performing all reasonably necessary duties required to host a college football game according to the contract. It agreed to work with the participating universities, officials, and governing authorities to ensure the game featured NCAA referees, security, all the necessary equipment. So the promoter just couldn't, from what I gleaned from everything I've seen online, the promoter just couldn't meet the requirements and some of the things that were set in place to get this moving in the right direction and get this kind of moving towards that week 0 start. Some of the things that they were tasked with doing, it sounds like they couldn't accomplish. They couldn't meet those requirements, I guess, in a timely manner. And as a result, NC State, and this comes from Yahoo Sports, they're in line to receive $1.5 million from Athletes Advantage for a material breach of agreement, according to the participation contract, which was obtained through Freedom of Information Act. So that came from Yahoo Sports. So it's pretty major blow. I mean, it would have been a huge matchup, historic. I think I first initially heard about this matchup back in December. And as I've mentioned, it was supposed to be the first FBS game played in South America. The NC State and Virginia were originally scheduled to play a non-conference game in Charlottesville as part of a home-and-home series in an attempt to increase the number of FBS opponents. When the ACC moved to a 9-game conference schedule, the meeting in Brazil was deemed a league game. This does not alter the original agreement between these two universities. NC State now has 4 true conference road games instead of 3 road games and 1 neutral site. It plays 5 ACC contests at home this season. NC State leads the all-time series with Virginia, 37-21-1, and NC State has won 4 straight games and 6 of the last 7. So this would have been a prime opportunity for CJ Bailey to get loose against the Cavaliers. I think NC State, if you look at their schedule, I don't think they're playing world beaters by any sense of the imagination. Last year they went 8-5 on the season. They were 4-4 in the ACC, and I'm just looking at their first 4 games. I think they're all winnable. I mean, they could go 4-0 before that October 3rd matchup at home against Louisville. So I think NC State, by all accounts, would have been up to the challenge of beating a Virginia squad that had an all right season last year as well. But I think NC State, if they were ready to turn a corner, I think this game just would have brought a lot of hype, a lot of excitement to the program, which honestly, it feels like NC State football has been an afterthought, especially when you're considering the fact that the basketball team went to the Final Four a few years ago. Even last year, the way it ended and the coach leaving the program, like all the eyes and excitement and all the attention has kind of been focused on the basketball team. I was actually working out today. I was in Philly and I was working out by the Art Museum steps, and I ran into a family from Raleigh, and they saw that I had NC State workout shirt on, and we were just chatting a little bit. And I was talking to him about the football program. I was like, oh, it should be exciting, this football season. And he was like, oh, sorry, I'm still focused on Wade leaving the program, going to LSU. So some fans aren't even though we're in the summer months and basketball has been over for several months now, I'm sure there's some fans that are still glued to the happenings of NC State basketball. Feels like NC State football really hasn't been something that has been exciting for a while. And I think this would have been a huge boost, a huge spark for the program. And it's unfortunate that this game is not going to happen in Brazil as originally planned. And personally and selfishly, I would have loved to have gone to Brazil. I hadn't booked anything yet. I didn't have anything planned to be in Brazil. But if there was ever a moment where I'm like, honey, you want to go to Brazil? We could go August 29th if you want. And I could have, worked through the school or worked through whoever was doing the tickets. I could have arranged everything. Could have been a nice little surprise for my boo and I. She would have been surprised, certainly, because I'd be like, oh, we're going to see this game against Virginia. NC State, Virginia. Can you believe it? They're in Brazil as well. What a happy surprise that is. But nonetheless, that's not happening anymore. I guess I could go see them in Virginia if I wanted to, but it's just not as exciting. And it would have been huge for the program, huge for CJ Bailey. And we have to kind of move on and figure out how we go about week 0 in Charlottesville, which is probably not as fun as Brazil would have been. Rio de Janeiro. But I had to hop on the mic. I wanted to dust the microphone off a little bit. I wanted to get back in the rhythm and groove. I'll try to put out some more content as as things come out, just following college football news, trying to get back in that rhythm a little bit, but disappointed that game can't happen in Brazil. It's probably for the best, though, if it wasn't, if things weren't shaping up the way they should be for a game of that magnitude on the international stage. You don't want to embarrass yourselves. Like, you don't want to be a part of a production that's just not up to the standards of where they should be. So it's probably best that they canceled now and that they can, figure out where they go from here. Maybe somebody does this next year. I don't know if the same athletes group will do this type of game or event next year for another program. Fortunately, nobody is out there. Nobody traveled yet, and nothing happened to make this a disaster or catastrophe in that regard. But they canceled 3 months ahead of schedule, and we just have to kind of go from there. We'll see week 0 football, NC State, Virginia, and Charlottesville. So not as fun, but I guess it is what it is. Definitely want to say thank you guys for listening to this little short bite podcast, trying to get back in the rhythm. Hope you have fun this upcoming week. I mean, just be working, but hopefully you find time to make fun. We got FIFA World Cup action happening, I believe this week or next week in Philly, so that's pretty exciting. Can't wait for that, but yeah, looking forward to talking to you guys soon. Hope you have a good week, and college football will be here in no time. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Peace. She would have been surprised, certainly, because I'd be like, oh, we're going to see this game against Virginia. NC State, Virginia. Can you believe it? They're in Brazil as well. What a happy surprise that is. Thank you again for tuning into my Cherry Pickin' podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to subscribe to my show and drop me a rating on Apple Podcasts. All of my digital content can be found at the website CherryPickinSports.com. And if you are looking to interact with me via social media, my Twitter handle is @Cherry_Pickin. That's PICKIN. On my Twitter, you'll also find a link to my blog where I post my weekly college football predictions and analysis. I can also be reached via email at cherrypickinsports@gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out to me regarding what you like about this podcast or about what content you'd like to hear more of on future episodes. I sincerely thank you for your support, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Take care.